say. I love it.
You can answer his question first.
Yeah.
No, just work each day, one day at a time right now. First 2 days under our belt, just getting back to the swing of things. I think offensively, just the recall from what we worked on in the spring has been really, really good, especially from our young guys. Just being able to remember the plays and the terminology. You expect a lot of rust the first few days when you're talking about that, but for the most part, it's been pretty clean. So we're happy about that, but just ready to keep installing the offense as we go and progressing each day.
Baker, these first 3 days of camp are pretty much an extension of OTAs. There's no pads. You're not just a quarterback, you're a football player. How much are you looking forward to the pads coming on Sunday? And you can see some of these receivers and tight ends that have looked good running around in shorts. Now when the pads come on, you've seen it in other places. It gets different.
Yeah, it's football with pads on. It's the real game. So, we're obviously, like you said, this is an extension of the OTAs. We're using this to revamp, get used to the heat again, and learn the offense to where when we play real boy ball, it's you see the physical attributes of what guys are made of. If guys, obviously it's gonna be hotter with pads on, so being able to continue the mental aspect of it, but also who's gonna separate themselves with technique when they're tired and with the pads on, and continue to show us, what type of team this will be.
No pads, pretty light. Do you like these competitive end game situations like they put you in the end?
Absolutely. That's what Coach Bowles does such a good job of. Is, you can script practices, you can do all these things, but is that really doing you any good? Because you get into a game, transitional periods, you can have turnovers, things like that. You can get thrown in different situations that you're not going to be in control of. So you have to be able to react, and that makes people have to start critically thinking on the field, eliminating, and just being able to process information quicker. So I enjoy that a lot, especially, we're day 2 and we're already doing our 2-minute drill and stuff like that. So it's good to see, and especially going up against our defense when they have so many different packages and blitzes and looks that we have to adapt and be ready for.
6'5" receiver, Mike Evans, you threw a touchdown to in that fade. Just talk about having him as a target on those fades in the red zone for you.
He obviously makes your job extremely easy. He's a big target. Even when he's one-on-one, he's still open. So there were things yesterday that I got to see him going full speed up against the defense. Just little nuances that what makes him extremely special. He's an all-pro for a reason, but he does things that you really can't teach as a receiver. He just has an innate ability of getting open and being really, really friendly at the top of his routes.
How motivated are you, Baker, by the skeptics that, I don't know, it seems like they feel it's ancient history. The last time you were healthy, you had a very good season, so did your team. But there were skeptics out there. Did they motivate you? Do you listen, do you read what's going on out there?
No, I've been off social for almost 2 years now, so I'm wired different. I don't need anybody on the outside to tell me what I can and can't do. I know what I'm capable of. I got hurt in Cleveland. That's why my run ended there. And then last year was, it was what it was in Carolina. But everything happens for a reason, so I'm here now, and I'm ready to go. This team, you talk about skeptics and what the narrative is around this team. I think it speaks to our veterans and the people that were a part of the run for the Super Bowl and the success they've had recently, more so than me. I'll always have a chip on my shoulder. That's how I approach every day. But it's good to be around a room and a group that has had success, continue to have that mentality as well. So it's a good fit, but we're going to write our own story. You can't carry on anything from the past years. You might internalize and think about it, but nothing translates to the next year.
Because you spent this past year literally sitting in every single seat in that quarterback room, does that change kind of how you approach a quarterback competition?
No, competition-wise, we're trying to make the QB room as good as possible. That I've always said, franchise will go as the QB room does, how they gel, how they get everybody, how they communicate, get everybody on the same page, how they lead. And so right now, like I said, I'm going to approach each day the same, no matter what position I'm in. I'm going to try and get everybody better. I'm still going to be me. I'm still going to work my tail off to obviously start. That's the goal. But to get everybody else better around me, to raise that competition level and that standard as well. And so, being in different places and experiences always helps you. If you don't take lessons from that and learn from it, you're doing it wrong. So obviously I've taken lessons from that and understanding how to approach the game from from different seats, as you mentioned. But yeah, I'm approaching it like I want to be the starter.
Baker, during the 6-week summer break, did you work with any of the Bucs receivers? And if you did, what did that look like?
No, we took that break off from OTAs. Felt like we got a ton of good work from mid-April to mid-June, giving those guys a little break, and then getting back here and just ramping it up with camp. It's, like I said, in the spring, it was the first full off seasons that I've had in a few years, so got to enjoy that and get a lot of work done. So let everybody get away from it a little bit, just check in. But other than that, yeah, let them have their time.
Your impressions on Dave Canales and his coaching style?
Yeah, Dave's a great guy. Obviously, has had a ton of success. He's coached every position possible. His philosophy and his approach to the game is great. You know, he talks about having grace and humility. About, you know, we're going to make mistakes, but how do we pick each other up? How do we move on to the next play? How do we be detail oriented and really get on the same page? And we've done the install as kind of a slower approach, which I love, to make sure that everybody truly grasps what we're trying to get done. And that's a special thing. A lot of coaches will try and just put everything in just so they have all the bases covered, but not him. He's working on everybody getting on the same page, really having a true foundation to where we can progress and do little things after that.
Baker, what have you seen from the tight ends in this offense, given how it's run, especially because it's such a young group out there, probably the youngest on the roster?
Yeah, it's obviously a younger group, like you mentioned, but I think for them, it's an offense that truly allows them to have a lot of good matchups. You know, with our players on the outside, you're going to get good matchups on the inside. So for them, they're really learning as it goes. They have to be a big part of our blocking scheme in the run game, but it's also going to open them up in the play action game. So as we're moving on, they're taking really good strides. I'm extremely happy with where they're at, and I know they are too.
Hey,
You had a really good.
You mentioned when you got here that you kind of were going to get this offseason that you hadn't had in a couple of years in terms of getting acclimated. So I'm just curious, given that, what's your level of being comfortable right now, and what are some of the small things that you still want to, I guess, get more comfortable at?
Yeah, I mean, as a foundational aspect for the whole offense, I mean, I understand where we're at and what we're trying to get done. You know, I'm comfortable in a sense of knowing what we're trying to get done, but never satisfied with what we're doing. So there's always little things that we're trying out right now. Different route combinations where we're seeing the different coverages and being able to adjust on the fly. And that's what this offense is going to allow us to do is have that foundation, but then be able to take what the defense is giving us. And so feel really comfortable with the foundation. And then right now, it's just, for me, it's just getting everybody on the same page as we're moving on and doing the little nuances.
Kyle kind of able to, I guess, the competition between you guys able to kind of bring out the best in each other? I mean, your personalities from our vantage point couldn't be more different.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm a little more outgoing than Kyle, but Kyle's a great guy. And so to me, competition always brings the best out in anybody. You want to have somebody pushing you to be better. You want to have somebody that's going to challenge you and bring a different aspect to it. And John does that as well. John brings the aspect of knowing that offense that we're installing down to a science almost. And so the combination of all three of us, it's pretty special to see how we're working together. And that's you know, when I mentioned the quarterback room is extremely important to be able to gel and get going. Yeah, between Kyle, John, and I, it's pretty cool how it's working.
You had a hell of a good throw today to Rakeem Jarrett on 3rd and 7. You made a diving catch. Talk about that play and what you've seen from the undrafted rookie so far.
I mean, Rox, he's making a ton of plays. One-on-one situations, he's got a really good ability to high point the ball. He's got good body control when he's in the air, and so those are guys that when you have those one-on-ones in third down situations like that you're gonna try and find. You're gonna try and find those guys that you know are gonna make contested catches. So I'm truly impressed with how he's been so far throughout the offseason and obviously the early start of camp, and I know he's excited about continuing to progress as well.
Baker, how's it working out with Canales already this early calling the plays right into you guys? Because I know he's never called plays before. You've been around. Usually you don't see that this early. You know, they're out there right next to you. How's that working out?
Oh, it's great. I mean, it's obviously a work in progress. That's why he's doing it. That's why he's getting used to it. But that's also why Coach Bowles is putting us in a situation to have call-it periods instead of scripted. So we've been doing that since the spring. So it's learning for both me, hearing how he's going to call the play, the feel of what he's going to do in certain situations, what he really likes. And so it's been great so far. Obviously, it's always a work in progress. But that's why it's training camp, and we've had a ton of work in those just situational periods so far, and it's only continued to get better.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Baker.
Yep.
How was your summer?
Fantastic, thank you.